Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Cabaret Hotspot. Today, I have a friend that I have known, let's see, I'm thinking about at least 25, but maybe 30 years, because Bob Egan and I were talking about when I did Odette's, and I met you from doing the Odette's gig in
Right.
PA. So I've known you a long, long time. This is Mr. Eddie Bruce.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, doll. How are
I'm
ya?
so I'm so happy you asked me to do this. And
Well,
not the least of the reasons is that I get to see your face.
uh, I do this cabaret hotspot listing, so you've been one of my permanent lists because once I saw your gig, you do them every Friday night at 8 o'clock,
Yep.
and I love the name. It's what's called Friday Night Club or
Yeah.
Friday Night
So
Club.
a club people could be, a part of and a nightclub feeling. So
It's
yeah,
very
you bet.
clever. So I checked it out because I know you, and I was really impressed with the production value. You do it where you are right now, so there's this nice, colorful background. And tell us how you started and how it's evolved in as you've learned with this learning curve of new equipment and stuff.
Well, when the quarantine stuff started, I had no plan on doing anything like this. I had
Mhm.
never Facebook lived or live streamed anything. And then I started to see some people doing it, and then Bob Egan and I did a couple of videos together, and I thought, all right, I'm going to just try it. And I just tried it. I mean, it
Mhm.
was really, I set up a little area, and I didn't even use a microphone. I went to the phone directly, and the response was so nice.
Mhm.
And, I mean, I have just a wonderful following in Philly, and they embraced it, and they asked for more. I mean, the first week we did it, um, during the week we had 3,500 views, and I
I
was like,
know, I saw
"What?
that. It was awesome.
It's crazy." I mean, and on live we had like maybe 130 or so. That's bigger than almost any cabaret room
But
that
here's
you
the
can work.
thing. There's a thing. If there's a blessing in any of this and a bigger picture, if we have to continue to do this, we can reach out to, Aunt May in Italy and, Uncle Ken in Florida. I mean, it's the ramifications of this. And then if and when we are forced to do this and monetize it, there's a bigger opportunity to make more money. Right now, I know you're not really charging anything. You're just doing it for the love of it.
No, I'm doing it, and I do it. I mean, I loved it so much. The freedom of, first of all, I've never worked with tracks,
Hmm.
but I don't play. And so the first hurdle was, are there tracks that I can enjoy that are musical enough that
Hmm.
will satisfy me? Because if I'm not having fun, I mean, why do it? I'll have a pizza and
Right,
I'll watch another Netflix show.
right, right.
So I found a source, and then I found a way to manipulate the tracks, keys, and tempo.
What are you
Now I
using?
can,
What are
yeah, it's a program called AnyTune Pro. It's just an app.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's fantastic, and it doesn't degrade the track at all. But you can change keys and you can change tempo. So now I could customize them a little bit. And as soon as I embraced the idea of, okay, I can work with tracks, the independence of not needing an arrangement and a
Hmm.
band and a light guy and the sound guy, and there's no mic to deal with. The independence of that I've never had in my life.
Hmm.
And that's part of the appeal of it. That's why I think I've been having so much fun with it. Not only that, I have done TV and radio, and I haven't been able to broadcast in a while. And being able to just look at the camera
Hmm.
and talk to people, I love. I love doing.
Well, that's another thing you're successful at because we're now learning how to perform like this. A lot of us have not done television. And, I'm looking at you as I'm speaking to you as I interview you, but I have to look here at the camera in order to look at my audience. And there's all these little tricks. And you're very successful at reaching through to me as a singer and as a swinging guy. I mean, you're a real swinging, kind of, I don't know, Sinatra and Sammy Davis and all the great kind of swinging guys of the generation. But you also have such a great lyric connection, and that's also not easy to do when you're working with tracks that are dictating how you should sing. But I
You
have
know,
to say, you're doing it great.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, listen, I'm a crooner. I don't mind the term. But like last week, I did a show that was about my early years on the road, and we were doing Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and
Hmm.
Joe Cocker. So I wanted to show some range, and
Hmm.
I had more range than that. But I think the tough part is, as a singer, when you sing rubato, you're depending on uh, your accompaniment to follow you, and they're going to
Right.
breathe with you, and you go where you want. When you sing rubato with a track, and there are a lot of rubato tracks, you have to amend your phrasing to
Right.
that. And that's been a real challenge. I've been enjoying kind of having to listen enough to really move with the orchestration when I'm used to having them move with me. And that's
Hmm.
been a learning curve.
Yeah, it is. It's hard, especially when you're used to working with the musicians that we've worked with, the caliber musicians that we've worked with. I miss my guys a lot. What is
Oh,
your
yeah.
process? Do you do 9 to 10 songs? Do you set them up? Do you have them in order? Are you pressing buttons? Do you have someone helping you produce this?
I
What's your
have nobody.
process?
Yeah, I have nobody here. I've been doing 8 to 9 songs. I find that 45 minutes with patter is enough.
Hmm.
And so I have a phone mounted up. I have the Blue Yeti out there. I have a speaker, and I load the tracks for that particular show into one file on my iPad, and I have that out of sight in front of me,
Hmm.
out of camera range. And I practice all week. I don't do this on Friday, cold.
Right,
I go
right.
through this entire show. I'm a rehearsal nut, and so I just I have the next one queued up. I don't try to hide that I'm pushing buttons because there's an honesty level. I mean, we're doing what we're doing,
We know what we're
but I
doing.
just
Yeah.
try to keep it smooth.
Yeah. It's funny, I did this thing and I held up my phone and I was like, and my musical director, Gregory Teroyan, because it's part of what we're doing. I mean, there's no pretending, but there's several ways. I mean, you have your iPad next to your microphone. Is the sound coming through your room or is it coming through your computer? How is that
I
working?
have uh, I have this a little tiny JBL
Uh-huh.
flip. I have that next to me, and it's sort of a little away from the mic, and I test levels because every track's a little different. So
Right,
sometimes I have
right.
to subtly just bring a track down or move it up. Uh, I have a music stand right in front of me right now that you can't see with the iPad directly in front of me.
Hmm.
I had to learn that I had to darken the screen or I get this weird glow in my face.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting.
you sort of, you live and learn.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you, though, that next Friday, my musical director for 10 years and a genius named Dean Schneider is going to come over, and we're going to move this whole thing around my piano upstairs, and we're going to do a
Nice.
live one. So it's just going to be Dean and me, and we're going to set up.
At
We
your
were
same spot though, at 8 o'clock?
at 8 o'clock, yeah. But
Okay.
next Friday, this Friday is a Sinatra. We've done the first Friday Frank, so every first Friday of the month I'm doing all Sinatra,
Hmm.
and then after that it's who knows, But Dean's going to come over, and we're going to do one with a real piano, and I can't wait.
Yeah,
It's
well,
going to be like the old
we'll
Dean
promote
Martin
that.
show.
Yeah.
Remember when he was sitting at the piano and somebody knocked at the door and walk in and he didn't know who it was? Well, I know who it is, but
Oh,
it's
that's
going to be fun.
really, really cool. So what have you been doing to keep busy? I mean, it sounds like you prep all week so that this can look the way it has impressed me as looking very professional. But what else are you doing? What is the blessing that you found in being quarantined? Did you find any new lessons or did you learn something new or what's been going on?
Well, I learned that I still can ride a bike. So I did buy a bike, and that's been like at least getting me to move a little bit. Um, and once I finished the entire Netflix collection, I realized I had to do something else. So this is really engaged me. I find that after the show Friday night, I watch the show and
Hmm.
have dinner, and I respond to all the comments. So I've stopped saying hi to everybody during the show because I think
Right.
it's just a little distracting. But
Right.
afterward, I make sure that I comment, respond to everybody's comment, even if it's just a little like. And immediately, my brain starts to work on next week, and I
Hmm.
start to look through what I want to do. So that is really engaging. The last couple of months, I have we figured out how I can connect and still see my family. So
Yeah.
my grandchildren are my whole life. I have 3 little ones, and so they're not far from me, and they've been quarantining, and I have. So we've decided that that's going to be safe, and I see them. My other
That's good.
daughter lives about 5 minutes from me by bike and about 15-minute walk. So and they've been working at home and we've all been so careful. So we see each other, and if I
Great.
could see family, then I'm okay. You
Yeah.
know, um, the wedding business, which is where I make my living, is disintegrated.
I
It's
know. Yeah.
almost an entire year's worth of gigs have gone, um, except for this Sunday. I am doing away Sunday. I don't know how they're going to do this, but my band agreed to do it. We have all these precautions. There's 130 people dancing 6 feet away from the band, and we're going to do it. It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I'm just hoping, you know, that we're smart and safe and we do it. But other than that, there's very few gigs left. So
Yeah.
there has to be new creative ways, you know, to stay sane. You know,
Yeah,
to stay sane.
I was talking to my musical director in one of these interviews, and you know, the musicians are really not only hurting financially because this is their livelihood, as it is yours, but also they're hurting from not making music. That there's something in a singer's soul that gets chipped away. So I'm assuming that that's why you found this new way of performing and expressing yourself.
Totally. This has totally re-engaged me vocally in a way that even prior to the quarantine I wasn't. You know, I'm singing all week now and trying tracks and trying things and trying new keys, and it's really been an amazing reconnection with my instrument.
Mm-hmm.
All of my musical friends, my band that I worked with for so many years, I mean, I have a 12-piece, you know, band that we play at big parties and things. We've had a weekly Zoom band session, band meeting.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
that's helped us stay together. They're all doing their own little things to stay sane. And then we did a band thing together to Higher Love, and a really, really hot sort of thing. And we all recorded in our homes. We put that out there. So that was a big
Is that on
project.
your website or is that on your Facebook page? Can we
It's
see
actually
that?
on the website of the company that represents the band. It's called bvtlive.com,
Okay.
and you just look up Eddie Bruce. But it's there, Higher Love. I don't think I'm going to put that up on YouTube. I
Put
wanted
it
to
up.
let people
Yeah.
know that all of these Friday night shows are on YouTube.
Okay, great.
My YouTube channel is kind of funny to find because YouTube put up their own channel for me that is not really mine. So you have to look for Eddie Bruce Music, one word, no spaces. If you go there and subscribe and hit videos, they're all there. And there's a lot of other fun things there. I have a video of me on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I have a video of me on the Ted Mack Amateur Hour from 1960 or
I
whatever.
actually think I saw that.
So
You
there's
were
just some fun stuff.
adorable. You were adorable then and now.
We've been doing it forever, haven't we?
Oh my, yeah, we have truly. We have mutual respect and love for our girl Ella and Frank and Sammy and Peggy and Rosie. We have very similar taste in music, but I noticed, like you said, last week you had a different theme. Are you planning on doing different themes to expand your repertoire and also just kind of show all the colors of Eddie Bruce's beautiful voice?
I am. I mean, every week, you know, I have sort of a blank slate to start with. You know how hard you work creating a 1-hour cabaret show.
Right.
What goes into that, thought-wise, connection,
and months of preparation.
months, the tissue that connects the songs, the reason you're doing them, the connection you want to make with the lyric, and then with your audience, and all of those things that I know you work so hard at because I've seen you do it so many times. I'm doing it, having to do it weekly. And that's really developing. It's like going to the gym, you know, for music. It's developing some different muscles.
Excellent.
So I have to quickly decide what I'm going to sing. I don't expect to hit a home run every week. We'll try some things. I definitely want to get out of the box a little bit. I'm trying to listen to people's requests. I'm leery of requests. You know, I always let them know honestly that I'll do them if I like them and if I can sing them well. But sometimes they have cool ideas, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to keep the mind open, you know, and see where it takes me.
Lenny Watts, the president of MAC, I was interviewing him, and he said something like, singers who aren't performing on our level, people who just want to do the open mics and want to grow. He said he's seeing such tremendous growth, and that's been a blessing to these individual singers, because when you're in your apartment like this, there's not the nervousness or the, you know, all the other issues that we have to deal with in mic and holding and band and timing. You just hear. And he said that he's seeing some really, really good work. Do you think that being in your space is allowing you to kind of, on some level, go deeper when you're not like leading a band and being the front guy and stuff?
Well, yeah, because you're so laser focused, you know, and you don't have, you know, I always say it's kind of funny. It's the reverse of a crowd filling a room and then you're introduced. Here, I sit here and I don't sing until I see a crowd. It's like sitting on the stage in an empty room and waiting for the people to come in and say, okay, there's enough of you, now I'll sing. But you're right, you don't have the distraction of, how's the mic? How's the monitor? Is the lighting going to be good? Where's the waiter? Is it loud? Are they listening? Yeah. You know, I have to just, focus in on that, hearing the music, knowing what I'm why I'm doing the song, all those things, and then just performing them. And yeah, it's forced me to, at any level as a vocalist, as you say, some of the people that do this for fun and the amateurs that live for singing at piano bars and things,
Mm-hmm.
to them, a lot of them, that's their life. They
This
love
is all they have. Yeah. Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
really appreciate them. I watch Bob Egan, my buddy, do his virtual piano bars. I kid him and I say, it's just like a real piano bar. There'll be like 3 really good singers, and then a lot of people just really trying their heart out.
But what
And
Bob said was awesome, and I actually saw an example of it because I've been watching. He sees someone that's thriving in this new paradigm because the nerves aren't there, and that they're going much deeper on a different level. And I saw like growth in Bob as a teacher that he is from his heart. He's a teacher. He said that he feels most proud about the fact that he's helping those people find this moment. We take it for granted because we perform a lot and we're doing a lot of this, but I think you're right. I think a lot of people, this is a lot of what they look forward to every week, and they look
yeah,
forward to you.
and I like watching. Oh, thank you. I like watching those people and their growth. And even a lot of my friends who are pros, I'm watching what they're doing and with great interest, and trying to learn. There's if you ever stop learning, like just forget it, and there are times when you do get cocky, you think, oh, I know what I'm doing, and every time I've been there, somebody has set me straight. I'll never forget when my dear friend and love of my life, Marilyn May, I took a lesson with her. And I thought, wow, what's she going to teach
She's
me?
gonna love me, yeah.
And I left there shaking, like thinking, oh my God,
Yeah.
And it was so good
Yeah.
to have somebody just say, wait a minute, especially when you're doing weddings, frankly, a lot of that is music by the pound. You sort of just crank it out.
Right.
And if you're not careful, you forget. When you have to do a cabaret where you have to really connect with a lyric, you forget that that's the job we have. It's a show. She focused me. So you have to stay in a learning mode and be open to it,
I've had some amazing mentors. Marilyn May actually is my latest one. And I've worked with her for a year on and off, and I adore her. But I also had Julie Wilson. I also had Jan Wallman. Who in your life, was there a mentor that kind of gave you a bit of advice that really kind of set you on the path, either musically or professionally, that you can recall that you'd like to share?
Well, every great musician has taught me something. And I've worked with some incredible musicians because I don't play. And I always had to feel like I was scrambling, to communicate musically, because I couldn't say, play the diminished there. I don't have the theory training, but I know what I want. And so I've always learned, but I think as a mentor, if I really think about that, there were 2 people that there are probably many, but 2 that come to mind. When I was a very young kid, I started singing at 11 or 12 years old at talent shows and local, there was a local TV show, talent show, and I was really young and out there. And I'm still well out there.
Amen.
and a woman was running a talent show at a synagogue, and I auditioned and I got in her show. And she was a housewife with no experience in show business, really, but a great gift of gab. And she said, I'm going to manage you. Okay. What did I know? And for the next 7 or 8 years, till I was like 19 years old, she really managed me. And she got me to sing anywhere and everywhere. So the 2 things she taught me at a very young age were be humble. Took me a lot of years to learn that. I mean, it's a tough lesson in our business, the humility, to always have humility. And she said, sing anywhere and everywhere you can. And as a young performer, that was so important. Just get up. If they give you a mic, use it. So that was crucial for me. And we talked about Bob Egan. Well, Bob, when I started my cabaret career after being in music for 20 years and a band leader at weddings and parties, I went to Odette's to do a cabaret show. And I sort of got up there and did my, lounge thing, and I'm singing my song. And I thought I was great, So Bob said, okay, we know you can sing. Now I want you to go out and watch every cabaret performer you can and learn how to get up there and be honest.
Be who you are.
And to leave a piece of yourself with the audience during that hour. That's cabaret.
Wow.
I never forgot it, and I did immediately go out and do what he said, and I'm still doing it. I still try to learn, because you and I both know that's the difference between singing and even big concert work and what we call cabaret, then the intimate
Right.
concerts.
Right.
So I forever love Robert for that, and you know, it was important. They were important words.
Hmm. I have to say that, you know, in cabaret, um, you got to get rid of the ego, and you got to do the work, and you got to do the theory, and you got to sing great. But the minute you step on stage, for me, as I think I'm hearing you say, it's then no longer about you. It's about who's in front of you and what you're giving to them, you know, and that's the real connection that this genre, unlike any other genre, offers, is that little, like you said, that little piece of yourself out there
And
for everyone.
if you're doing that, then somebody said to me, I don't remember who said this to me. You send the audience off, well, during the song, to where the lyrics take them.
Right,
Let them
right.
go where they want to go with it, because you're communicating in an honest way,
Hmm.
and then hope they come back at the end to clap for you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and if you can do that, send them on that journey in whatever way. You know, that's not always big, profound ways. Sometimes it's just to enjoy it. But
Yep.
then you've done, you know, then we've done our job, and that's like, it's always, you know, it's hard to get rid of the ego. Like, how do I look, and how do I, you know, listening to the sound of our own voice. I
Mm,
fall into that all the time.
yeah.
Marilyn would tell me that all the time. Stop listening to yourself sing, and
Yeah.
get under the lyric, you know,
Ella's
and
best work, you and I are both huge Ella fans, and some of her best work was on her Live from Germany album, where she was just taking requests from the audience, and she messed up so many times, and she would just kind of make things up as she went
shares,
along.
right?
And her theory was, you can't do your best work unless you're willing to make mistakes. So on that album, there are a lot of what I call clam notes, like not so great, they're not, you know. And she left it because she said in order to get to where people called her greatness, she had to risk making those twists and turns. And better advice, I don't know that I've ever heard.
No, that's awesome. Did I ever tell you the story of where I first saw Ella?
No, I don't think so.
All right, I don't know how much time you have, but I'll do it quickly. I'll leave you with this. There was a nightclub in Philadelphia called the Latin Casino,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very famous. It was a 2,000-seat show place. And for many, many years, it was in New Jersey, in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and the greatest stars in the world played there. But before it went to New Jersey, it was on Walnut Street in Philadelphia. And my mother, who was a very cool lady, took me for my 6th birthday to a nightclub. Does any wonder what I do?
Nice
To
mom.
see Three Stooges live on stage. Well, 6 years old in a nightclub. Three Stooges, happy birthday. I was thrilled. But they finished, and I thought it was over. And all of a sudden, there was an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, Miss Ella Fitzgerald. So, first of all, somebody said, let's get the Stooges to open for Ella. What a good idea. Weird. But she walked out. And, you know, the influences that we bring to our kids, they stick.
Mm-hmm.
6 years old, she opened her mouth, and I was a goner. And that was it for me.
You knew what you wanted to do.
It's an amazing memory.
Was
And we
that before or
followed it.
after? Was that before or after you started doing talent shows? Is that what
It
prompted
was
you to start?
before. I was 6 years
Wow.
old, you know, but I started. I was listening. You know, when I was that age, it was the '60s, and so I was behind. I was an anachronism. My friends were
Mm-hmm.
listening to the Beatles and the Stones and the English Invasion, and I was listening to Sinatra and Ella and Tony and Sarah Vaughan and Mel Torme, and
Mm-hmm.
you love what you love.
You love what
I
you
learned how
love.
to love rock and roll later on. I did, but I love what I love. You
Yeah.
know, I've embraced that and not tried to, you know, not really try to change it, not to limit myself, but that's what I love.
So if you want to see Eddie sings what he loves, just tune in to his Facebook page and also on YouTube, Friday nights at 8 o'clock in Eddie Bruce's Friday Night Club. Eddie, thank you so much for joining us today. I really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Susie.
It
I
was
love
nice
you.
to
And
catch up with you. I love you
thanks,
back.
thanks for all you do. You're just
Well,
amazing,
we
amazing.
try. We try to keep the word out, you know, because this is amazing. All right. Thanks